Diamonds in the rough. NFL Draft Diamonds. Time to shine.
Hi, my name is Jimmy Williams with NFL Draft Diamonds, and today I have with me a diamond in the rough. His name is JT Thompson. He's a defensive back out of Boston College. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing well, man. Can't complain. Nice spring weather outside. So, talk to me a little bit about yourself, if you don't mind. Give us a little bit of that background about maybe where you're from and how you ultimately got there to Boston College.
So basically, I went to Mountain View High School up in Lawrenceville, Georgia. I went to school with Caden Smith. He went to App State. Jalen Virgil, those are like two of my close friends. They both went to App State. We were both in the same class in 2016. Kylan Whitner also went to my school. He went to Syracuse and he graduated in 2015. So we were all kind of a close bunch of guys, as far as just like work ethic and just, just positive energy. Out of high school, I didn't have any offers. I had 0 offers to go to any schools, not D1, not D2. I didn't have anything. So, I didn't really know what I was going to do, but I knew that I wanted to keep playing football. And, people were just telling me to try to go junior college and try to play somewhere there. And, obviously out of high school, you're just like, why would I do that? Why would I go to a junior college? But I took a risk. So I went to Jones County Junior College in Mississippi. That's where I went originally. I played with Jonathan Abram. He plays for the Raiders now. Javon Kinlaw plays for the 49ers. Deontay Williams, and he's in the draft class of this year. Scott Phillips, he plays running back for the Texans. So all those guys are my friends. Like, we all have great relationships. So, I went to Jones County Junior College out of high school. When I was there, I got moved from corner to safety. So it was a position change for me, and I ended up getting cut from that team. So I got cut. I was only there for, I want to say, 6 months. So I just went through spring, and I got cut. So I was just at home, really just working, just like doing odd jobs, just trying to, keep some money in my pocket. So I got an opportunity to go to Highland Community College in Kansas, but whenever that happened, they wanted me to walk on because they didn't have enough scholarships. But at the time, I didn't have any other schools looking at me. So I was like, okay, cool, that's fine. So I went to Highland Community College as a corner and a nickel, and I earned a scholarship in 2 weeks there. I ended up starting 3 games there at Highland. And, that next year, at the end of that season, I had an offer from SEMO, so Southeast Missouri, which was a FCS school. And in my head, I just didn't want to play FCS. I'm like, man, I've already played JUCO and stuff like that. Like, I can always go walk on at an FCS school if I have to. So I ended up going back to Highland for another year instead of going to an FCS school. And in that spring, I was just balling. So, like, when I went to Highland, I played with alongside Demarion Williams. He was another corner. He plays at Houston. He's coming out this year getting drafted. Brian George, and he plays at Texas A&M. It was me. And we all played, we were all the corners on that team. And so once that happened, I came back and I had a really good spring. I had a bunch of schools looking at me. Nebraska was coming in looking at me, Georgia State, Georgia Southern. I had Cal looking at me, and they were just all super interested. So that first game of my JUCO year at Highland, I got hurt. So I was out for 8 games. So I didn't really have any college film. I only had like 3 games of film from my sophomore year. So, once that situation happened, the only school that really wanted to offer me was Southern Illinois. And I didn't have any more eligibility to play junior college. So I went to Southern Illinois. That first year, I came in as a corner. Major Harper, he played with me. He plays corner for the Panthers now. Everyone knows Jeremy Chen plays safety for the Panthers. So we all played together. So that was super cool, just that experience in itself. So when I went to Southern Illinois, that first year, I ended up starting 7 or 8 games that year at corner. So, and I played every special teams. Even when I was in junior college, I played every special teams. So really, I've just been really just working my way up the kinks, ever since then. Once I started that first year at SIU, the next year, that spring, I became a captain, and I started, the rest of my years at SIU. And, the last year at SIU, once the pandemic hit and stuff, the FCS played in the spring. So I was just like, why not try to play somewhere else? Technically speaking, I just played my senior year. So why not try to, go to another school? So I train with Oliver Davis, and he trains a bunch of like different NFL athletes, top Division I athletes here in Atlanta. So I knew he's very high on me. So I knew he was always gonna push my tape out and push out my workout videos and stuff, So once that happened, I entered the transfer portal. I was in it for about 5 days, and I had a good amount of schools that hit me up, Power 5, Group of 5, no FCS schools, So it was really just a blessing. And once, I really got on the phone with Coach Halfley and Coach Tim Lukabu, like, whenever we were talking, it was just like very enticing, and the things that they were telling me, I really enjoyed it. And then once I went to Boston College and I seen the kind of atmosphere it was, and it was kind of a family life there, and I felt like they really cared about their players. It just made me only want to play for them more, no matter the outcome of the situation. I just knew I wanted to play for Halfley. So, I committed to Boston College, and, I got there really late, like super late, because I entered the transfer portal late. So when I got there, it was literally like maybe 2 weeks until fall camp, So I had to learn the defense in like 2 or 3 weeks, trying to get on the field. It's my last year. And, I left a lot of it up to God and myself. I was just working my tail off and just praying. And, you can never go wrong when you're doing that. So that's what I was doing when I first got to Boston College, and once I played there for my entire grad year. In the last 7 or 6 games I started, but I played in every game. I played special teams in every game as well. But I got a lot of snaps like the last 6 or 7 games. And that's when I made a lot of my plays. Just, the more I was on the field, the more plays I made, obviously. So, yeah, it's been quite a journey, but it's been fun for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you talked a lot there about that entire journey. I know some of it, was certainly tough, there at the beginning. I mean, just kind of talking about the whole JUCO situation. But I mean, you kind of shared a little bit about some of the people that you played along, with, and obviously there is some great talent that does go through like the whole JUCO experience, and we do see those guys getting drafted. We do see those guys really excelling in the NFL once they get there. And then, of course, you talked about your time there at Southern Illinois, and Southern Illinois has a great program. I mean, out of a lot of FCS schools, really one of the top programs there in the FCS, and they certainly do things very well. So you talked for just a little bit about your last season there being like the spring season before you transferred. And I'm gonna be quite honest with you, that was probably some of the best gameplay I've seen at SIU in a long time, because you guys were the ones that actually upset the Giant, man. You guys upset the Giant that season in North Dakota State. So chat with me a little bit about that experience, if you don't mind. I mean, being up against those guys.
I mean, that season was probably like one of the most fun seasons I've ever played. And I've been playing football since like I was 9 years old. It was just the culture of that team. I feel like a lot of that like was kind of created with the players. Obviously the coaches helped a lot, but I feel like we just had a different bond. Like those guys, I still talk to, at least 5 to 7, guys from Southern Illinois every day. Like, and there is at least 20 guys I still speak to on a weekly basis, but like every day I still talk to at least like 5 to 7 guys that I still have a great relationship with. And I feel like that's why we were so good. Because it was like, it wasn't so much that we weren't playing for ourselves. Like, it was like, yo, I'm playing for this guy next to me because like, I don't want to give up a catch because I want to look out for him. Like, I don't want to drop the ball because I want to look out for him, So it was like, we just had it was just a super family, vibe. And I feel like that's why we were so good. Like, right or wrong, we were always there to hold each other accountable no matter what. Like, if I make a bad play, like, Bryce Notary come over the sideline, like, yo, JT, like, tighten up. And if he misses a tackle, it's the same vibes. Even with Landon Lenoir, like, he plays offense, but like we were still hard on each other, the same way. Like, I would just say, like, the relationships that we had and that we created is what made us like so strong, and that's what made us so good, honestly. Like, even when we went up to Weber State and we played them in the playoffs, and that was in the spring. I mean, that was a tough game. Like, they're undefeated at the time. The quarterback had thrown no interceptions. Like, it was a good game. It was a hard game. Obviously, like, we're up in the mountains because we were in Utah, so there was so many different factors that played in that game. But I felt like we just really did really well with holding each other accountable and just having each other's back. Like, I mean, a lot of our games, if you really look back at it in that season, and what a lot of people don't know is a lot of our games, we were down. Like, going into the fourth quarter, like going the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, we were down. And it was like, we just had that fight, and it's like, yo, we're not about to lose. And a little bit of that came from going through COVID together. Like, when COVID happened, the pandemic, like, we were all in Illinois. We couldn't leave. Only people we could hang out with was each other. So it was like, the relationships that we created, not only throughout the years, but especially in that spring, it was like, we really felt like we should have won the championship. And I feel like still to this day, we should have won a championship. Like, we're one step away. Like, when we lost to South Dakota State in the last round of the playoffs, and they ended up losing to Sam Houston. But I think if South Dakota State's quarterback doesn't get hurt, they blow out Sam Houston, So it's like, it was a lot of things that we just felt, but I definitely feel like it was our mentality. We had a lot of talent on that team, but more than anything, I feel like we just all, like, we're just competitors. We just all wanted to win, and we wanted to win a championship. And I feel like that's kind of what made that experience like so unique. And like, it was super cool. Just being around that, the culture was cool.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of chatted about it. I mean, definitely championship caliber, team players, both on offense and defense. I mean, up front and on the back end, like with guys like you. So let's steer a little bit back to you as a prospect. I mean, defensive back. What sort of experience level do you have there in the secondary when we're looking at you? There, are you playing on the outside? Are you playing field, boundary, nickel, safety, anywhere in between? Can you maybe share your experience overall?
So mainly, like, in the spring at SIU, they had me playing a lot of field corner. Um, and then during the last part of the season at Boston College, they also had me playing a lot of field corner. And I don't feel like anything is wrong with that. I love playing field corner because I have really good technique as far as just like my hips are super fluent. I break on things really well. And I'm really smart as far as like splits and like where a quarterback is, what I'm saying, lined up, if he's on the split, where the ball's lined up as far as that, and like where the receiver's lined up, if he's on the splits, off the splits, all that type of stuff is, I feel like in the field, you just have to be, a little bit more mentally in tune, rather than the boundary. Obviously, everything happens a lot faster in the boundary, but the splits and stuff just isn't the same as the field. So I played a lot of field corner, but when I played junior college, like I said, we played like I had 18 guys sign D1 from Highland that year. So like we're playing at a high level, all of us. And I played a lot of nickel. I played a lot of safety. I played corner some games. My first year at Highland, I played corner, but I also played a lot of games at safety, and I played a lot of games at nickel. Southern Illinois, I played a little bit of nickel, but mainly corner. And the same thing at Boston College. Like for our defense at Boston College, our corners kind of travel, so everything looks the same. So a lot of times I would be playing corner, but at a nickel position. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I'm very like capable of just playing anywhere an NFL team, puts me. Obviously, I'm more comfortable at corner because that's where I've been playing the last 2 or 3 years. That's where I've gotten the most reps at. But to say that I'm not comfortable at nickel or safety, I'd be lying because I feel like I can play anywhere on the field and play at a high level. So yeah, as far as just like playing defensive back, I really play a little bit of everything. I'm at that size where I can do that, thankfully. I'm like 6 foot, almost 190, so I can play safety if needed. I can steal that corner. I can play nickel and, help in the run game. So, I feel like just with my size, it's a blessing that I can kind of move around back there a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like your versatility is one of those things that does kind of help you at the next level. I mean, I do feel like you're going to get a lot of looks because of that. I mean, because again, you have a guy who can play the corner position, come inside, play nickel, or go back and play some free safety. Also, like you said, kind of embracing the role as a special teamer as well. I mean, as long as you have a person who has that experience that you can plug and play in a lot of those spots, I mean, there's definitely a spot for a guy like you for sure. So let's go ahead and shift gears. Let's talk about your pro day. So you went out to your pro day. I feel like you did a solid job with all of your drills and stuff. Go ahead and share that experience overall, if you don't mind.
So my pro day, I think obviously I feel like, as human beings, naturally we're always kind of our own, we're our own biggest critics. So I felt like I could have had a better pro day, but I feel like I tested pretty well. I jumped like 35 for my vertical. My broad jump was 10-11. I feel like personally my 40 could have been a lot better because I ran a 4.6, but you know, it's definitely not the end of the world because I ran that. I feel like my game speed kind of shows, like my game tape shows way differently than a 4.6. Just me like running with different guys. You know what I'm saying, like that. I mean, for instance, like even the receiver for the North Dakota State had a really good receiving core when we played them, and Christian Watson was a really good receiver once we played him. But I mean, you can see on tape that it's not like he's burning me. I'm running with him the entire game, and he runs like a 4.2. So it's like, that it can be deceiving. But I didn't feel like I had a bad pro day at all. My football, like the drills, like the fieldwork drills, I did great. All my breaks were super smooth. I didn't slip out of any of my breaks. I didn't drop one ball the whole day. So as far as like the field work and then just showing my explosiveness, I feel like I did all I can do, what I'm saying, in that aspect. So, I feel like it went really well. It was a great setup. Boston College did a great job just kind of preparing us as far as what to expect once we get to the pro day, how it's going to be set up, what scouts are going to be looking for, how they're going to be speaking to us, all that. So it was a great experience. I wouldn't change anything.
Nice. So again, like you said, I mean, you went out there and did a solid job at your pro day. The broad jump is really one of those things that, at least to me, like that number right there, obviously, literally jumps off the page. When you look at a guy who does a 10 foot 11 inches, which is just a phenomenal number. So where in the world does that come from, man? Like, what kind of shoes are you wearing, man? Like, I need to go out and get some of them for sure. So, but anyhow, sorry. Um, uh, let's get a chance, man. I want to meet you a little bit outside of this game a little bit. So, tell me something about Mr. J.T. Thompson II. So, any interests or hobbies or anything about yourself that you want to share?
Um, I mean, one interest is like I like to hike a lot, which I don't think a lot of people would like expect me to like to hiking, but I love nature, you know what I'm saying? Like I just love being outside. I love seeing, I'm saying, different views and stuff because I feel like the world's beautiful. And a lot of times we don't really get to just sit back and just like, wow, like we're so blessed to just be in the position we're already in. And that's something that I do a lot. I just kind of, self-reflect, you know what I'm saying, just kind of see different perspectives of the world. But I'm also just like a big family guy. I have 3 younger sisters that live in Ohio that sadly I don't see as much. But I also have 2 brothers and a younger sister that live here with me in Atlanta. So I'm the oldest. But I'm a big family guy. I love being around my siblings, my my mom, my grandparents, stepdad. They're all been really supportive as far as this journey that I've been going on. And I feel like, especially when you're at school so much, you don't really get to be around your family. You're always practicing. We got spring practice or fall camp. We got workouts, whatever it may be. It's hard to just like spend time with your family. So especially during this process and, you know, preparing for pro day and stuff. I did all my pro day training here in Georgia. So I was with my family. So that was super cool because I live with my grandparents as well. So just being around them, you know, they're getting older and stuff. It's just a blessing. And I really appreciate just like, you know, just the little things, just, you know, watching TV with my family, you know, being in the kitchen while my mom's cooking, anything of that nature. So
Great. Couple hopefully quick question answer, here, just to sort of dive in a little bit more about maybe some of your likes and dislikes. So, um, coming from a big family, obviously you talk there about everybody. So, also talked a little bit about like how you're kind of in the kitchen there with your mom. So, what's that one meal that your mom cooks that you love the most?
man, I can't really put my finger on a one specific meal, but I mean, she makes like these stuffed peppers, you know, that are super good. She usually, you know, fries some chicken with it, got some greens and some mac and cheese, potato salad on the side. That's like my favorite meal just because, like, I can, you know, usually the stuff lasts because she makes a lot of this. So I can eat it for like 2 or 3 days and it's all like super good. So I would say that for sure.
Nice, nice. Obviously, you also had mentioned the fact that you're an outdoors guy. You like being outside and stuff. I'm not sure if you're this kind of guy or not, but I'm just going to throw this question your way. But if you had the money to get it, what would be your dream car?
If I had the money to get it,
Yeah.
um, okay, so before I answer this, I'm very big on like manifestation. So in my head, in 2 or 3 years, the cars that are my dream cars they're gonna be my cars, but I just don't have the money for them yet.
Sure,
But
sure. That's fair.
I want to get a red eye Hellcat. It's gonna be a wide body, and it goes fast and it's a pretty car. But I also like AMGs, like AMG Mercedes, like the coupes. I like those a lot too. So I guess I gotta make a decision.
Cool. Aside from becoming an NFL player, what's that one thing on your bucket list that you want to do?
I really want to give back once I do make it, you know, just to the community and just like the kids in my position. Like I said, in high school, like I didn't have any offers. Even when I, you know, went junior college and stuff like that, it's very easy to get discouraged when you don't have offers in high school, and it's even easier to get discouraged once you get cut. You know, like I feel like during the ages of 15 to 21, even further than that, you're growing a lot mentally as an adult. So it's very easy to be like, okay, I don't want to do this anymore. So a big thing that I want to do and I've always wanted to do is just like kind of help kids understand that like it's okay not to have everything figured out right now. Like it's okay to fail. It's okay not to get what you want. That doesn't mean you have to stop trying to get what you want just because it didn't happen when you expected it to happen or when you wanted it to happen. So a big thing like, so my major is sports administration, but I'm gonna go back and finish up and get my psychology degree, get my degree in psychology because I want to be a sports therapist, so I can talk to these athletes and kind of just allow them to know that like, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to fail, as long as you don't stay there, and that's a big thing that I've always wanted to do and I'm going to do, just kind of speaking to younger athletes and kind of just putting them in a different mindset than what they're already in, because I mean, you never know someone's household or the support that they actually have. So, I mean, a small conversation could change someone's life. So that's what I really want to get into.
Nice. So JT, I want to go ahead and try and wrap things up here. So I mean, we've talked about you and your experience, and how you've really been able to grind through all that and really persevere. And we have this you know desire, obviously, to get into the NFL, to get your one opportunity there. And I know you've spoken to some scouts. I know a lot of guys have seen you work, have seen really like you through your journey there, whether it be, through JUCO or, through Southern Illinois or during your time at Boston College. I want you to address all those scouts and tell them why they need to take a chance on you. So give them your pitch and tell them why they need you for their team. So go ahead and hit them with that.
Um, I personally feel like scouts should take a chance on me because I just feel like I'm different. And I know every athlete says that. Like every athlete's like, yeah, I'm different. Like I'm just one of one. But no, like my competitive energy, my competitive nature is just different. Like I don't care where you put me. Like when I went to Boston College, I played every single special teams, kickoff, return, kickoff, punt, return. Like it doesn't matter. I'm a competitor. Like at SIU, I played every special teams, and like that's I feel like that is what's going to separate me. I feel like a lot of guys are just they just want to focus on their position and stuff. And it's not like I'm not focusing on that aspect, but I do understand like you got to work your way up, and I'm okay with that. And I just want to tell guys that tell scouts that I don't feel like that it's just going to be a great experience just having me around. I'm a positive person, and I'm always willing to work. You look at my I'm not trying to boast or anything like that, but if you look at my my history, like everywhere I've gone, I've ended up starting the remainder of seasons, every single school. So my first year at Highland, I ended up starting the last part of that season. Second year, I started the whole season. After I got hurt. And then when I went to SIU, I started the remainder. I went to, then the next year I was a captain, started the whole year. Boston College, I ended up starting the end of that season, the last 6 or 7 games. So, like I said, I'm just a competitor. And I feel like my energy definitely rubs off on guys in the locker room. And, it's always good to have good energy. And, it's always good. I mean, you can always take a shot on a guy, and I'm cheap. So,
Sure. I mean, definitely a worker who's busted his butt to get where he is right now. I mean, obviously, like you had mentioned, I mean, going through all those programs and eventually, becoming a starter, going out there, becoming a team captain, being a guy who is really a crucial part of not just defense but special teams as well. And I think that that's probably going to be where you're going to first start out. When you first get that call. But I mean, I know that you'll do that well. So, JT, I wish you best of luck in this whole process, man. I mean, I know sometimes it's a little bit of a headache, but do wish you best of luck, and thanks for sitting down with an interview with me. All right.
yeah, for sure. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day.
All right, bud, no doubt. So once again, JT Thompson, the second defensive back out of Boston College. Definitely check him out.